human, and I consider myself to be one of the nicest people on earth. But I'm sure if I feel that Barry the Gordy trying to do that gaslighting bullshit on me, I'm gonna cuss his ass the fuck out.
Hello, Black Hole. See this brother winning, man. A-R-E. Hey, look, what is your win, big? What is your win, big? What is your win, big? Kansas City.
Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. So have on sale my wood bangle bundles, okay? First of all, let me just thank everyone who has purchased from my website. Okay, it seems to be the same people, and I appreciate you guys so much. Who is that? Nakia, Taha. If I'm forgetting your name, charge it to my head and not to my heart. I appreciate you guys, but I would like to see some new supporters over there on Up Top. And if you are not a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube, and for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now let's continue talking about Duke Fakir's My Life as a four-top. Finally, one night I came home drunk and she confronted me. You're going to have to make a choice. Either you're going to give up drinking, smoking blunt. Either they forgot the S, or they trying to say, or she trying to say, stop smoking period. Or whatever it is that you're doing, or you're going to come home and we won't be here. You have to become a real husband and a father. Thank God I never went past cocaine. He didn't mention none of that in the book. We almost at the end of the book, and now you talk about the book of sugar. Never did and never would. None of the four tops did. Okay, none of the four tops did cocaine, because Dookie, I'm kind of feeling like you lying by omission. Okay, like you telling me you was the only one in the room with the booger sugar? Like, I see so much infidelity with him. So many things that I feel like could have made this book a best seller. Like how Bobby Womack did, like how Rick James did. You know, you put your business out there so that people can appreciate you more. Growing up around the North End in Detroit, there were a lot of heroin addicts. I was always fearful of that fate. I'd heard that once you shot up, you might as well keep going. Just one shot. That's all it takes. I did start liking cocaine, however. Everything was so vivid. It makes you want to just keep going. You want to drink more, smoke more, make love more, but you begin to enjoy it too much. I know that I did. A night in Vegas, I reached a point where it was now or never. I had to back off from it. When I got home, I told Piper that I'd made up my mind. I'm not drinking. I'm not smoking. This is it. Case closed. But I knew I needed strength. I got down on my knees and prayed, Lord, I need your help. I prayed and prayed. Then I heard his voice. I will be with you in this house for a while. I know it's hard for people to believe, but it happened. Like I've known all through my life. I know he's been there for me. That's how I stopped drinking, just like that. I didn't drink another drop of alcohol for almost 20 years. After that, only a glass of wine or champagne now and then on special occasions. A week later, I joined the church. Whatever happened in Vegas, I mean, I mean, if it was, I told you I'm not finna read y'all the whole book. Okay, you won't catch NayRob with a copyright infringement claim on her neck. After I joined the church in 1994, I told the pastor I wanted to be an active member. I didn't want to just sit there on Sundays and enjoy the service. Plus, I knew that working in the church would help me with what I was fighting against. He asked if I wanted to sing in the choir. I told him that I loved that, but I wouldn't be able to attend most of the rehearsals, and I'd feel bad just walking in and singing without doing what was required of everyone else. Okay. All right, he's a liar by omission, but I see he got some kind of integrity. The next week, he called me into the office after the service and asked me if I'd heard of his men's ministry outreach group, Mastermen. He said he wanted me to head up the ministry as a facilitator, along with a younger man named Milton Weathers, the son of a preacher who would help me. I thought he was kidding, telling him that I was no preacher. The Reverend explained that the role didn't require preaching. It was teaching men how to be better men, better family men, better husbands, better men on their jobs. Okay. Working as the facilitator of Master's Men became a very important part of my life. Growing into that role, becoming a good leader, I started volunteering in the church kitchen on Sunday morning. Naseem was the son who was always getting in trouble as a young man. DUIs, kicked out of high school, dropping out of Florida A&M University with a full scholarship. He was so smart. Getting locked up for drinking. I tried everything I could to help him. I got to the point that I was pretty much through with him. But there he was, sitting at Master's Men in my second week as a facilitator, listening attentively. I could see he enjoyed it. After a few weeks, he actually joined the church. He seemed to be getting a lot out of it, but I couldn't have predicted what happened next. Daddy said, the Lord has called me to preach. So we prayed on it right then and there. And sure enough, he went to the University of Detroit. He signed up and got a degree in business while at the time working with a mortgage company. Naseem graduated with high honors from there. He went on to Garrett Theology School in Chicago, where he got his master's degree. The only thing that stopped him from finishing his doctorate was pastoring in his first church in Chicago. Billy Eckstein was like our dad in show business. Billy picked up our education where my dad left off. At that moment in our lives, we were young men needing guidance. He handpicked us to do the supper club circuit with him. When we went to Motown, we returned the favor. We brought him along with us, trying to help him revive his fading career. We had just signed with Motown and approached Barry with another deal. Since he told us that he wanted to start a jazz label, we asked, "How would you like Mr. Billy Eckstein?" Barry's eyes lit up. "Oh man, he's a great singer. He's like Sarah Vaughan and the rest of them. I'd love to have him." So Barry signed Billy. When his album was finished, something went wrong. Billy cussed him out. I mean, how long you think somebody gonna work with the Barry bed bug bites and then I cuss his bitch ass out? That shit don't happen. I'm a human, and I consider myself to be one of the nicest people on earth. But I'm sure if I feel that Barry the Gordy trying to do that gaslighting bullshit on me, I'm gonna cuss his ass the fuck out. He was getting to that part of his career where he was really angry about the way he was being treated. He was over at Barry's house and said exactly what was on his mind. Good for him. I respect the F out of the Billy Eckstein. Then just walked out. He ended the relationship just like that. Billy Eckstein was a brazen kind of guy. He didn't take shiz from nobody, and he was mad at show business. Frank Sinatra was coming up at the same time he was. Billy was just as talented, but as a black singer, he didn't get the same treatment. He still made a great living, but all that stuff started to wear on him. Eventually, he lost his beautiful wife, his kids, the amazing home he built in Las Vegas. As good as he was on stage, he was very hurt about all kinds of stuff. He started taking a lot of dope and got addicted to drugs. In his last days, when we were performing in Vegas, he'd come to our show and sit with us and talk. He'd tell wonderful stories, then ask, "You got $500 on you?" Things got so bad we had to pay his bills for the last 2 or 3 months before he passed away. I think that as youngsters, they come up with a gift or a talent, and that talent takes over. As they move up in the world, they lose their childhood, their youth, and they become whatever the music is, whatever that drive is that keeps them going. I'd given a great deal of thought to what happened to the great artists like Billy Eckstein and Michael Jackson. Why did Michael feel like he needed to be so high? Or Prince, any of them? I think that as youngsters, they come up with a gift or a talent, and that talent takes over. As they move up in the world, they lose their childhood, their youth, and they become whatever the music is, whatever that drive is that keeps them going. They never get to experience what they're really like without the music. They live only for the music and the times on stage and in the studio. It becomes their whole life. The other part of their feelings, just being themselves, is overtaken by the creativity and the music. Whenever they're not on stage, they are looking for something to give them the same feeling. So they turn to dope or something else. They don't understand the raw feeling of being who they really are, because who they are in their minds is the music. That's what their mind is telling their body. They take drugs to recreate that great feeling in their normal life, but they can't feel that space. They have to learn to live outside the music. To me, I'm going to say a lot of the people who he mentioned, like Prince and Michael Jackson, I can't say for Billy Eckstein, I don't know. But when it comes to Prince and Michael Jackson, them niggas just had problems sleeping. I don't know it. From what I've heard from Michael Jackson's story is that he just couldn't sleep. And he needed that milk to put him to sleep. I think that's the fentanyl. And Prince was the same way. So that feeling of being on stage, I believe, is a high. You know, like, and because we've read TT's book, Tony Turner, who explained to us that David Ruffin had that constant dragon or monkey, whatever you want to call it, on his back for the applause of the stage. And in order to cope, he utilized crack. I get that. But with Michael and Prince, I think them niggas just wanted to go to sleep. I'm sorry, I have mad respect for Prince and Michael Jackson. I just think they just had a sleeping issue. Looking at the great singers of our generation, so many of them suffered with alcohol or drug addiction. Sam Cooke, Teddy Pendergrass, Jackie Wilson, Prince, Whitney, Marvin Gaye. Each one of them is different. Their lives unfolded in different ways, and it happened at different stages in each of their lives. But somewhere along the way, that unhealthy part of being a musician or singer, that imbalance in their lives took over, and it was stronger than the natural part. I came to my senses just in time. I eventually realized the greatest high I could get is from the love, not what I put in my body. The applause and the looks from the audience of respect and love and thanks. That's what makes me feel better than anything. And I feel like in your mind, you think you had it under control because you didn't get to that point of death, right? But dig this. Earlier in the book, he had said, "Oh, I never used heroin. I wouldn't use that heroin." You know, like heroin was beneath him. You have a person that's looking at you who has only done weed that says, "Oh no, I would never do that booger sugar. Never. That's nasty." So you can't stand in judgment of certain things or other people when you have somebody over there standing in judgment of you. All right? You hear that, Virgos? Okay, I was just checking. I've talked this over with Otis Williams, the last surviving member of the Temptations. That's why this book's so dry. I digress. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit Up Top Beauty, my wood bangle bundles. Because they're not selling, I think I'm going to lower the price on them and then mix up the colors a bit. You know, I would love to keep the colors the same, but I mean, real talk, I got some things I got to do.